Diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, and cancer. These are some of the leading causes of death in the United States, if not in most of the industrialized nations of the world. Many of us know someone who has one of these diseases. I do. I know someone who has some of these diseases. Right now, there is no cure for these diseases, only treatment, medicine, and surgery to help the people that I know. What if there was a way to stop them? What if there was a way to reverse their effects or completely eliminate them? Would a miracle pill help? What if the cure was as simple as salad? We should all adopt a whole food plant-based diet now and reverse, cure, or completely eliminate many of the diseases that are plaguing us, our friends, and our loved ones. First, we will start out by looking at research in China and seeing how disease is more widespread in certain areas. Then we will hear research that shows the startling evidence associated with associated with our current diets. After that, we will view the surprisingly logical benefits of a whole food plant-based diet. And finally, we will hear proof of how a whole food plant-based diet has been shown to completely eliminate or reverse some of the diseases I mentioned earlier. Research done by Dr. Colin T. Campbell in China shows that diet is one of the most important factors in determining disease outcomes. In the China study, What It Means by Dr. Colin T. Campbell, written for the Nutritional Health Review, it states, and I quote, "Cancers tended to be more concentrated geographically in certain areas and not in others. In many of the rural areas, the citizens had almost entirely plant-based diets and less disease. In the same quote, in the same article, in the cities, on the other hand, they adopted diets very similar to our own, and the major causes of death were heart disease and cancer." This extensive research in China shows that diet is certainly a major factor in determining cancer and heart disease rates. It also shows that some diets may actually promote disease, like the typical Western diet. We now move on to research by Dr. Caldwell B. Esselstyn. His study finds that 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women will eventually end up suffering from some form of heart disease. This was in the Nutritional Health Review Journal in an article called Circulatory Problems and Heart Disease. This same article also states that by the age of 70 for women and 65 for men on a traditional Western diet, they will eventually have cardiovascular disease. Are you on a traditional Western diet? We will look at his inspiration from Norway. During World War II, the Germans occupied Norway. And when they arrived, they took away the cattle, sheep, goats, chicken, and pigs. And they forced the Norwegians to eat a more plant-based diet, as stated in the previous article. The years that the Norwegians were on a plant-based diet, their rates of death from heart disease and stroke dropped dramatically. When the Germans left and the war ended, they returned the animal products and the fats. And the rates of death from heart disease and stroke also returned. These shocking study facts prove that diets that are animal-based contribute to a higher rate of death from strokes and heart disease. They also show that anyone on an animal-based diet is also at a higher risk for these diseases. We can also see that a whole food plant-based diet is logical. As you can see from my chart that I obtained from WholeFoods.com that was originally presented in the China study by Dr. Colin T. Campbell, when we eat 400 calories worth of high-fiber, vitamin-packed fruits and veggies, we actually fill our bellies completely, telling our bodies that we are full. But when we eat 400 calories worth of chicken or animal products or oil, we only fill our bellies a certain percent, a small percent, leaving a large percent of our bellies empty, causing us to want to eat more and to perhaps overeat. And finally, a whole food plant-based diet has been shown to reverse disease or eliminate their existence. Patients of Dr. Esselstyn who had diabetes, heart disease, and hypertension and followed a totally plant-based diet healed or reversed their previous illnesses. As quoted in the previous article, some of them did it in just a few weeks. Dr. Esselstyn was so impressed with many of his patients. Some of them achieved changes through diet that no surgery or medication would have ever been able to achieve. When we look at the numbers, the research, and the evidence, we can see that our diets of large amounts of animal products and fats, or the traditional Western diet, is a road to poor health. We have also seen how eating a surprisingly satisfying whole food, plant-based diet is a healthier path and can lower our chances of getting cancer, heart disease, hypertension, and many other illnesses. We have also heard proof of how a whole food, plant-based diet can eliminate or completely reverse illnesses. So why not take this route? I invoke everyone at their next meal to put down their knife and to pick up their fork.